This is Bad Movies We Love, part of the Sheist Podcast Network.
Hello once again, Bad Movie Lovers. I am your host, Nick Sheist, and I'm going to share some exciting news with you before we get into this episode. The support page is finally up and running. I thought about what I wanted to do, and I ultimately decided to go with Ko-fi.com or Ko-fi, depending on how you want to say it phonetically. But it is ko-fi.com, and you can find this podcast at Bad Movies We Love. And I'm going to add that link into the show notes. But today, I was joined by a friend of mine who I met on what used to be Twitter. And we've had this one in the works for a while. But my friend Eliot stopped by to talk about his very first experience in the library of Paul Verhoeven. And we jumped both feet first right into battle on Clendathu as we talked about Starship Troopers from 1997. This is an action movie. Don't worry about any of the subtext at all.
It looks like a TV show, or it looks like a TV movie.
I'm crying, and she's like making fun of me.
Oh, yeah, violence is the ultimate authority, yeah.
And I was like, wait a second, is this high school?
You see the ridiculousness of everything, and then you see them being like, yep, that's just how it is, you know?
Guilty. The sentence, death. Execution tonight at 6.
Goofy, cheesy.
No, we're concerned with these bugs over here for some reason because they look scary.
On the other side of the galaxy. Oh, they're close enough.
Xander, who looks like he's 40 years old in high school. I was just like, oh my god, does this guy have a hairpiece?
You look like that. Of course you'd be afraid, yeah?
Did I not notice that before? These dudes look like they're from the Gestapo.
Like, it's a fun time to watch.
Eliot, thank you for joining me and for working with my timetable to make this beneficial for both of us.
Of course. I'm happy to be here.
Welcome to the show. It's your first time on the show. I've had some repeat guests recently, so it's nice to see a new face and to talk about a movie that, you know, was definitely part of my like teenage formative film years. I don't know, maybe I'm dating myself. No, I think, what is it, 97? Something like
let's
that.
see.
So,
yeah, 97, yeah.
Yeah, so I was like 13 when this came out. So it was like right as I was starting to realistically shape my own viewing choices, where I got to pick the things that I was interested in and actually watch them. But also, this is a film where I saw like RoboCop when I was 3.
Yeah.
And I had seen Basic Instinct before this and Total Recall as well. So it's like I knew Verhoeven's work fairly well. And it's like I've told people the story of like when I first saw RoboCop, like it was because my mom loved it. And so she put it on. And late in that movie, Clarence Bodiger is, stabbing RoboCop up and I'm crying and she's like making fun of me. And I'm like, of course I'm crying. This is horribly graphic and violent.
Yeah.
And then so I think it was my 5th birthday. We went to see RoboCop 2 in theaters.
Another great choice, yeah.
So like I was very ingrained sort of in that style of filmmaking at a young age. So it makes sense that I would sort of just like gravitate towards this. But it had been a while since I had seen Starship Troopers, and I'm curious for you, sort of, if you were to like step back and try to gather like why someone would say that this is a bad movie, like what's the general overview for that?
I'll just kind of start by kind of giving my, I don't know, I didn't know much about this movie kind of going into it and watching this. Like when I watched it for the first time, like maybe like a few months ago, a year ago, maybe. It's kind of like a recent movie for me. So I didn't know much about like the critical or audience reception to it. So I had no idea that the reputation it had. I knew a little bit, like I'd seen like clips here and there of people like talking about it, being like, oh, it's this kind of like, I'd heard like a little bit of like a reputation about it, but like it just more of like, it's like a kind of goofy, cheesy sci-fi. And that's kind of what I went into it. And I'd heard, stuff about like the kind of satire and everything. And I've heard of Paul Verhoeven's work. I haven't seen a lot of stuff. I've still only seen pretty much like, I think just Starship Troopers and RoboCop. I haven't seen Total Recall. I haven't seen Basic Instinct. I haven't seen a lot of them. So I'm based on what I've seen, I'm very excited to go through, and I've got like Showgirls up on my list for ones that I'm going to visit soon. But yeah, so I watched it and I was like, I can see why some people might think it would be a bad movie, because it doesn't look like a normal, I think, like sci-fi action. It kind of looks like, I think Red Letter Media in their review of it, they were like, it looks like a TV show, or it looks like a TV movie or something. And yeah, like it's lit very evenly. It's not very grungy or anything. Everything's kind of clean. So yeah, I can see the writing is also kind of, interesting, like with some of the characters. But I can see the but when you kind of take that step back and be like, okay, this is like maybe an in-universe propaganda film. Like you can kind of like start to see how those maybe flaws are serve the message a little bit better than originally thought.
Yeah, and you had mentioned, excuse me, other Verhoeven work, and I just covered Showgirls with a couple of friends of mine for this show just 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. So I'm sort of like in Verhoeven mode, and I'm recording an episode to deep dive RoboCop here in the future. So it's kind of nice to actually like sit down and be sort of like seeing his work over the years and seeing some of his more famous work. Yeah, and I have no idea how old you are because we don't know each other that well. Yeah. But you said this was a first watch for you, mm-hmm. And kind of coming into it at a place where you're not really coming from all of these other things that he's established at this point. I guess, like, how did you take it on first glance? Because I sort of remember it as this like dumb, fun sci-fi action film. And like you said, it's got like almost the quality of like a TV show. There's definitely some older Star Trek era sort of like winks in there as well. And I sort of remembered it that way. But in watching it again now, it's probably been 10 years at least. And I had a much different experience with it this time.
Yeah, no. And I kind of a similar thing on my rewatch like 2 nights ago was when I first watched it, it was this pretty similar experience where I was watching it with a bunch of friends in Discord and everything. And we were laughing at, at all the fun moments and everything. But there was like that kind of winkiness, where it's like there's like the little, got the woman like maniacally laughing during like Family Guy cutaway, would you like to know more information bits, where it's like, the I'm doing my part, smashing the bugs, the woman maniacally laughing during that part. Like there are like little bits to like let you know, like it's not just like what you're seeing and stuff. So I thought it was really funny, and I thought like all the bits that bits that I don't think I would have normally noticed if I wasn't like I think in a like meta sense aware of Paul Verhoeven's like way of doing things, because I'd heard of like mm-hmm. His kind of like biting satire from RoboCop. I hadn't seen RoboCop at the point that I'd seen this. This was my first Verhoeven, so
that's a good jump off point.
I think so. I think it was a good starting point, good dipping the toe into the water. Yeah, the like little bits. Like the I'm from Buenos Aires, I say kill them all. Like the fact that they're from Buenos Aires, the Argentina, like Nazis after the war going to Argentina. Mm-hmm. Like I love that bit. I love like all of like the little like winks, or all of the little like satire bits were funny. But then they're like, it is a pretty sad movie. Like there's clearly like Johnny, Rico, and Diz are meant to end up together, and that doesn't happen. Carmen and Xander are clearly meant to end up together. That doesn't happen. And, it's sad. Like they go out and they're like, through the like getting out of their home world, they're kind of like, and getting out of like Argentina and Buenos Aires, they're kind of finding themselves and being their best selves and stuff. It might be for this horrid, federation, this fascist federation, but and then through the implements of war and destruction and everything, they have all that stripped away, and then they end up back kind of exactly where they started, where Carmen and Rico together, and Diz and Xander dead, and they're just going to do this forever. And it's just this horrid cycle of death and I was watching. I thought this was interesting. I watched for the first time Nausicaa, Valley of the Wind, from the Valley of the Wind. And I thought there was a lot of parallels between them. On my rewatch of Starship Troopers, I was like, it's interesting how like the bugs' natural state, how they are as like, these scary looking sharp things, their natural defenses are immediately taken as a threat and as like as something to be dealt with and something to be destroyed and exterminated as a threat. Just them existing solely, and I thought that was interesting. I thought that was kind of paralleled in the Nausicaa with, the toxic jungle that's spreading, that is a benefit and is just the natural state of how it is. But since it is has a defense against humans, it's seen as an offensive attack rather than just like a defensive one.
Yeah, it's a much more scathing teardown of sort of like American imperial military approach. Especially like, I mean, it's intergalactic at this point in the film, but it's like, that's kind of where it's going. And like, as a 13-year-old, like, I'm not picking up on this stuff. And then, as an adult, I'm like, oh, okay, there's a lot more here. And it's sort of balanced out with like, Johnny Rico's kind of like a dumb character. Like the way that all of the characters are written, their interactions is all a little bit like not the most intelligent stuff going on. And it's like, I wouldn't even say that any of like their performances as like probably like the main four characters are really like standout performances as fantastic, but like Michael Ironside's very good. Clancy Brown is very good. You support them with really like good veteran presence to sort of like level the playing field in terms of like where you want your seriousness, because
absolutely
this movie is like it's a cold open into this world where it's like, oh, here's the Federation news. And you get this thing of, oh, man was a murderer was caught this morning, tried today, guilty, sentence, death, execution tonight at 6.
Exactly. Yeah. You get to watch it. So good. Good.
So like he introduces you into the world that he's created through this sort of like comical approach to the news media at the time. And so you can't take it too seriously. And so you're supposed to
That's the best part is like Michael Ironside and like Dean Norris, all of them are taking it dead serious. And that sells it so well. Like, just like, you see the ridiculousness of everything. And then you see them being like, yep, that's just how it is, the repeated bits of like, the infantry made me the man I am today, and it pans back and he's got no legs. It's like all of the senior people are like horribly like scarred and disfigured and just like they all have like, the teachers have like missing arms and missing legs and like acid burns on their faces and everything. It's like, oh my God, but it's played so straight and so like, oh.
It is. When we first meet Michael Ironside and he's like teaching their class, part of me was like, hold on, I'm stepping back. I'm like, are they in military school right now? Because he's basically like preaching pro-violence.
Oh, yeah. Violence is the ultimate authority. Yeah. That is like, that's their dogma is violence is the ultimate. That is the divine power. Like where everything
and I was like, wait a
from.
second. Is this high school or are they at the military academy yet? So I'm like, okay, it is high school. So that it's a different tone than if he's like teaching that in like a military tactics class. So like even at the high school level in your senior year, like you're being taught the value of joining the Federation and fighting for their cause. And it definitely just has like a much different tone, but it also didn't detract from the stuff that I felt was like the fun kind of like irreverent attitude of the general like bug hunt nature of it. I was like, this is a good like sci-fi bug hunt movie. If you strip out all of the sort of political commentary and you just have it be like this sort of B movie, then it's a blast.
It's a blast to watch. There's like all these great action pieces. You know, Riku on the back of like the big beetle bug, and he's shooting all that. He's got the grenades. Like it's a great like action piece. They've got like it's a fun time to watch. It's like regardless. But then you also have that kind of like you like it is fun to watch because like in the universe they're glorifying these actions, and it's like and you all have that step back and you're like, okay, well yeah, this is also just like the propaganda used to kind of like show this, and that's like you're having fun, and that is like, yeah, that would be fun to watch. Like if I were in this universe, I would love watching this, I'm sure. No.
Yeah, it's like
whatever,
the way
that's just about me.
I mean, it's sort of like the same way that in RoboCop they have the "I'd buy that for $1" guy, and that's kind of like the universe that they live in, where this guy is on TV and that's their entertainment. Or in The Running Man, where that show has become the most popular thing. It's like it is this deep satire that also is sort of like a warning of like, hey, we can't take this for granted that like this is not that far off. But this was coming on the back of Showgirls, which I mean at the box office was a commercial failure, but it was still the highest grossing NC-17 movie of all time at the time. I don't know if it still is, but to go from that, which he got chastised for many reasons, but to jump from that to this, it's like almost the exact opposite. So I want to take us back to 1997 and take a look at the trailer and see what kind of movie this was sold as, because going back to Verhoeven, like he needed a win after Showgirls. I mean, it went on to make plenty of money on the home rental and home video side of things, but let's go ahead and take a look at that trailer.
Now it's on the Criterion channel.
Oh wow. I know it just got its Vinegar Syndrome release as well, so it's got a new life.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Greetings and salutations, bad movie lovers. This is a special message from the Federation Network. The battle against the arachnids wages on, and the war effort needs your effort, at work, at home, and in your community. Would you like to know more? The arachnids have launched an all-out offensive on Earth. You may have seen them strengthening their numbers and setting up shop under bus benches, building nests in your yard, or even lurking in dark attics and basements inside your very home. The time to act is now. Dozens of your fellow civilians have already made the pledge. So what are you waiting for? Service guarantees citizenship. We have the ships. We have the weapons. We need soldiers.
Please stand by for further details. We return you now to your regularly scheduled program.
Okay, can you see that okay?
Yeah.
Looks good. Let's rock and roll.
In every age, there is a cause worth fighting for. But in the future, the greatest threat to our survival will not be man at all.
Got the trailer guy in here.
In the world.
He's taking it serious.
Hey, kid, what's going on? It's war! We're going to war!
Now the youth of tomorrow must travel across the stars to defend our world.
We are a generation commanded by fate to defend humankind.
Everyone fights, no one quits.
We are going in with first wave. You smash the entire area. You kill anything that has more than 2 legs. You get me? We get you, sir!
But they will face an enemy more devastating than any ever imagined.
Here they come!
Incoming!
Yeah, the set piecing is still like really good for this.
Oh yeah.
Mayday, this is Rough Neck 2. We're under attack, sir. We need retrieval now. Someone
made a damn mistake.
The bugs laid a trap for us, didn't they?
TriStar Pictures
Really blowing shit up out there in the desert.
Yeah.
Frontier.
Kill them all!
Starship Troopers.
Yeah, I mean, just going for the straight action. That's interesting.
Yeah, it plays it pretty straightforward. Like, this is an action movie. Don't worry about any of the subtext at all.
Yeah.
And just come and see this. And, you know, I think in my rewatch, one of the things that I was most impressed by was that it is a very fine line that Verhoeven has to walk with this, where on the one hand, as we see in the trailer, if you just take this as like a straight military movie, and it's like, hey, I just want to enjoy all the gun porn. I just want to see the adventure and the other world and all the explosions and that. Like, you can do that without taking any of the other things from it and still have a good time. But then to also use that as sort of a pretext to build all these other layers about his criticism of fascism and his experience growing up in the Netherlands during Nazi occupation. And then to see the little things of like, all of a sudden in the background, I'm like, did I not notice that before? These dudes look like they're from the Gestapo. I was like, their outfits are very Nazi-like.
No, yes, absolutely. At the very end, when like Neil Patrick Harris is like in literally like full SS garb, it's like crazy, like black, like trench coat, like it's insane. And it's like, holy shit, like he's like, you put his hands on the thing, he's like, it's afraid. It's like, yeah, of course it's afraid. He's like, you look like that. Of course you'd be afraid,
Yeah,
you're all cheering with your guns and everything,
Apparently on set, they nicknamed him Doogie Himmler in reference to the leader of the SS, because that's what he looked like.
Yeah.
So it's obviously like the people that were involved in it sort of knew, but like as a younger adult, like I wasn't really looking at it like, oh, these guys are representative of the Nazi party in Germany and sort of their tactics of like, we're just going to go conquer whatever we want, wherever we want. And so it's a super, super tough line to walk for Verhoeven. And I could see definitely like people not getting it, because you can just look at it like a dumb, fun action movie and walk away from it and not even ever have to think about it again.
Yeah.
But it's definitely some very, very strong tones. And there's a line later in the movie, but we'll cover that a little bit later. But since you watched it twice fairly recently, I came across like a weird theory about it where
let's hear it.
So we get Carmen and Xander, and he's teaching her to fly, right? And she arrogantly is just like, well, I plotted a better course. Check it. My math is better than yours. And then immediately gets them into trouble. And there's a black hole and an asteroid comes flying out of it. Yeah. And so the theory is that her putting them on that course and colliding with the asteroid deflected the asteroid to Earth. And it was never actually the bugs that launched the asteroid to Buenos Aires.
I'm fully down for that theory, because it's literally like it's played like so comedically, literally like, because immediately after that is the phone call with his parents where they're like, oh, what is that? It's an asteroid. It's like, that is absolutely read as the asteroid, and 100% that asteroid. Yeah. So I'm fully subscribed to that theory now. Thank you. That's amazing.
And then so with the benefit of hindsight, this movie's 1997, but then you look at an event like 9/11, where there was a huge incident, and then we went to war with the people that didn't do it. Like, I was like, oh man, like it's like, is Verhoeven really
insane.
That smart? Like,
it's insane. It's literally like, and what's another one of the inciting incidents is the Mormon colony that on Clendathu, or one of the colonies that they go and like, I can't remember which one, but
it's either Planet P or is it a Clendathu?
It's something like that. But yeah, it was like, it's all reactions to like instigation. It's not ever, it's just the fact they see that the fact that they have these capabilities to launch these asteroids, and they have the capabilities to defend themselves, and they see that as a threat because it threatens their plans for expansion and colonial imperialism.
I know. It's like growing up, I was never like, oh, I'm supposed to side with the bugs. And then watching it this time, I'm like, wait a second. They're just
they're defending themselves.
Yeah, they have their own species. They're on another planet on the other side of the galaxy. And all of a sudden, like hostile invaders come over attacking them. Like, of course they're pissed.
Yes.
And they have every right to be.
Yes, exactly. It's like, what do you expect? You're doing this to yourself. Yeah, exactly. So it's really hard to sympathize with the Federation. So that's why it makes it like you're watching like all this action porn and you're like, oh, this is great. But then you're like, this is wrong. This is terrible. This is the worst. Like, this is the massacre of ages, for just these trying to vibe bugs,
Yeah.
And it helps nobody. The civilization is, the humans aren't really doing great because it's every time that they have, an invasion, it's just more meat for the grinder because the bugs clearly, they're definitely very capable of wiping out great numbers of the human forces. Yeah, they say more meat for the grinder. It's just getting rid of tons and tons of humans. It's just endless cycles of death and war for nothing, for going to war with the bugs that are just hanging out on the other side of the galaxy. Like, it's like they show at the beginning, like the Klendathu and like Earth, you are here on the other side of the galaxy, but they see that as like, that is that much of a threat. Is like, they're close enough. That's like a million trillion light years away. Are you kidding?
Yeah, they have to actually use like warp travel to get there in the first place, but they're like, no, we're concerned with these bugs over here for some reason because they look scary.
It's like that. There's a great Norm Macdonald bit where he's like, oh, everybody's so worried about North Korea. You mean that little country all the way over there? You're worried about them? North Korea. I wonder if they'll get me. That's a good bit. But yeah, that's just reminds me. It's like, why are they worried about them? They're not bugging anybody. No pun intended.
And so like it kind of points to like Verhoeven's, I think, overall identity for the film, in that like warmongering just leads to fascism regardless. It doesn't matter like whether or not you're ill-intended or you're supposedly doing it for, whatever altruistic reasons. Like, it always leads to fascism. And, coming from his background and growing up with that, I think he is able to maybe see it and project it in a way that other people can't. And like, he was asked about this film and like why he wouldn't just come out and make like a movie that's like just on its surface anti-fascist.
Yeah.
And he's like, because no one's going to watch that. And he's so I'm going to give you all of these other things, and I'm going to sort of like softball it in there when you're caught up in the middle of the action, and
absolutely
going to be more effective that way. And I think in hindsight, it really is, because I started like you said, this movie is kind of sad. And like, even if I were to remove the love story angles from it, right? Like Diz's journey to like her unrequited love for Johnny and his for Carmen, and that kind of weird triangle that involves Xander, who looks like he's 40 years old in high school. I was just like, oh my God, this guy has a hairpiece on. Like, this is not the best casting. But just looking at it, like these kids coming out of high school are sort of being conditioned to be like, no, you need to do this in order to become a citizen. And there is an interesting like discussion to be had about sort of civic duty and like civic responsibility. And I like that is in there, but also it's more geared towards the sort of like brainwashing element of the youth to be convinced that their bravado is invincible. And it's not even until really like an hour into the movie that we get to the bug planet, and they're all hyped up, and like you said, Johnny's screaming like, I'm from Buenos Aires and I say kill them all, and then they all go get their matching tattoos, and it's like dun 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 dun, military time, let's go. And then they get out of the jump jets on the ground, and they're like, oh my God, we didn't sign up for this. This is terrifying.
It goes back to the
God.
beginning, the news report, like on the planet. That's a great, like, oh, now we're here now. It's a great contextual framing. I was a big fan of that. I had this written down in my notes. One of my favorite, like, cynical moments, I think it's like probably one of the most cynical moments in the movie is, I think it's before the invasion that we were just talking about, where Sky Marshal Dien's or whatever, he's like, he goes on and he's like, we need to do war. Like, we need to invade. We need to show our strength. We need to do that. And then so they do that and they fail. And then he's pretty much immediately replaced by it's like a meet the new boss, same as the old boss type thing, where it's like replaced by a completely different person, and it's like more of like played out as more of like a sympathetic kind of bleeding heart type leader, where she's like, oh well, we need to beat the bugs, we need to understand the bugs and stuff, like we need to and all that, but like nothing really changes in their approach or strategy or like or anything in that. Like they go for the brain bug and everything, but like it's like it's kind of like the under the whoever's leadership, they're just going to find a leader that advances the mission forward. Not really. The leadership doesn't really change much. It's.
Yeah, unfortunately, it kind of just stuck in like you're going to have a different mouthpiece for the same complex, because at the end of the day, like in this world, like military is what it's about. And I found it like an interesting change of pace for Verhoeven, who, Showgirls has some like big, flashy, colorful scenes. But if you look at like his action work, like Total Recall and RoboCop combined are not the scale of this film. And I've read that they expended like 300,000 rounds of ammunition in this. They used like gallons and gallons of blood throughout the movie. And like a lot of the special effects work is fantastic. Like they did really great practical effects work. And you sort of, when they first come across the outpost that had been ambushed, it's like there's just bodies cut in half. There's intestines everywhere. And so
they sucked his brains out.
Yeah. And they're getting hit like for the first time with sort of like what the cost of this war is, because it's like, okay, they've already met the teacher who doesn't have an arm. They've met the guy who is enlisting them, or he's signing their paperwork and telling them where to go. He's got no legs and he's got a metal hand. Like, so they've already seen sort of like the physical toll, but all these people are also telling them that no, like this was totally worth it. And it should be worth it to you too. Yeah, this is a net good.
This is working as intended. Like you see the body stream. This is like just the price of this is the means that are justifying.
Yeah, and so I think you get to the point where it's like whether or not you're really like, yeah, I love Rico, he's a great character, I love Diz, or like any of them, you do realize that it's like they've walked into something that like is way bigger than they could have possibly understood, that they were more or less coerced into doing so, and you sympathize with them just as regular people and kids, even though, I mean, they're just out of high school at that point. So they're 18, 19. And you just have this broader picture of this is kind of the way like that it really is. There's a lot of sort of predatory, like poaching behavior with how recruitment goes for the military now. And we have seen in the aftermath of many of these, not global, but international wars where our troops come home and they don't have like adequate healthcare. They don't have adequate like mental health care either. And so like for Verhoeven to sort of have his like finger on the pulse of this pre 9/11, only coming out of looking at maybe Desert Storm and Korea, and well, Vietnam obviously was a very big event at the time, but it echoed some of that same stuff about like warmongering all across the globe, and not just the negatives of that from just a pure cost of life point of view, but also like what happens to the people that survive it. And so we get some characters here that survive, some don't, but it's like, okay, you're an 18-year-old, you took a starship through a hyperwarp to the other side of the galaxy to land on a planet filled with bugs to watch all your friends die. And okay, you got promoted from sergeant to lieutenant for the time being. And yeah, so it's such a crazy stance for him to take, while also telling the story of like the heroics of the military to bring down the arachnids. And Zed got the bug, he demoted himself back from sergeant to private so that he could enlist in the war and go find the bug himself. And Neil Patrick Harris is here and he's doing mind control on the bug and trying to figure out how to actually beat it. So it's such an interesting balance that I really didn't appreciate the first time around.
Yeah, I think there's an interesting thing to be said about Rico's parents. I was thinking about them on my rewatch because, for them to actually have Rico, they had to have served to become a citizen, right? Like they needed to have, and so I thought it was interesting for them to advise against him enlisting and serving and becoming, a citizen because they themselves did it. And so I'm wondering, like, if there was a thought put into their parents being like so against him enlisting because of what they experienced in their service or whatever, if they did serve. I'm not sure if it was implied that they did serve or not. That's kind of what I'm wondering. But also I think that like in terms of like the enlisting, there's a lot of like themes about how the kind of perceived threatening of masculinity and the emasculation of Rico kind of leads to his enlisting and leads to like the kind of rah-rah attitude that he has. And like so much of him is getting like in the early bit is him getting humiliated and he like almost like cucked out of whatever. And I think that kind of that Paul Verhoeven was showing, this is what leads kind of men to believe this and believe that they need to maybe even redeem themselves somehow by serving and showing their masculinity by serving in the military. So like, you see him sending like the kiss animation thing to Carmen, and she rejects it with the bubble gum thing. And then immediately after they go out of the class, he sees some couple making out and he grabs her and starts to kiss her. And she's like, oh, not here, not here. And then they go check the math scores and Rico gets humiliated there by, Neil Patrick Harris putting his 35% up for everybody to laugh at. And
I thought you were my friend, bro. What the hell was that about?
Exactly. And then furthermore, in the game with against Xander, he's getting humiliated and like shown up again. I mean, he does, I guess, win the game for them, but there we go. Like he feels the need to win the game to win Carmen, right? And so much of his motivations are just for Carmen, or just because of his emasculation. Like that's an interesting kind of like theme to put into, especially the first half of the movie.
Yeah,
it's just like him getting just humiliated over and over again.
Yeah, and how that's a catalyst for certain types of decision making. And I mean, since you brought it up, it reminds me a little bit of Fight Club, where
absolutely. Yeah.
I know that a lot of people didn't take that away from it, but it is sort of like
it is baked into that movie, like
exactly,
for sure.
Like how this like sort of identity of like my life has been shit, and like sort of, I don't remember the quote exactly, but Tyler goes on this long tirade of here's all the reasons why like you need to stand up and be like more of a man and take your manhood back, and then how much of a slippery slope that is before it's like, okay, we're doing terrorist activities.
Exactly. It's just they're I think the Fight Club and Starship Troopers absolutely like just like the idea that your masculinity is something that needs to be protected and it's something that is being attacked just leads into fascism or anarchism or such just violence, and that is like an interesting and then also like there's a little bit of like there's not too much misogyny baked into the world. Like that was like there is a bunch, but like it's for the most part it's not terribly like I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Carmen is like the best pilot in the fleet.
Right.
Diz is a much better leader and soldier than Johnny or any
that's
of the other
That's
guys.
that's what I wrote down was like Rico gets the promotion off of Carmen Diz's recommendation where she's like flip six, the football or whatever pattern, and he was like, oh yeah, I'll do that. He does that. He's a follower. It was under her leadership that he got that the leaders saw him do that, and they're like, oh, he's one crazy white boy, let's give him the promotion. And,
even on the football team, she was the quarterback, and it's like the quarterback is the most important position on the team. So I was like, wow, this is actually very forward for Verhoeven to sort of acknowledge this and show.
He did show that
leadership quality.
He did show that Rico was getting further ahead than her based on her even leadership. So it's an interesting angle for that.
He was the star of the team, even though she was the quarterback, and
exactly
her play call and
all of her plays
won the game.
And the same thing for the promotion was for squad leader was her play. So it's at every time they make a great team. They make it they're meant for each other. And that's kind of sad to see how it ends up. Right.
Because he really is just no, I'm gonna do all of this for a girl who really isn't into me that much, and I'm gonna follow her across the galaxy, and then she breaks up with me, and then Johnny, the next time I see her, she's like, you're not happy to see me? No. I followed you across the galaxy and you broke up with me. That's horrible.
Oh yeah. Is that was the scene where right before Xander's is this guy bothering you, that they fight to the Mazzy Star song? That's a great bit. That's one of my favorite bits of the movie. Mazzy Star fight scene
is disregarded right now and then gets punched in the face.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, but it does echo these dangers of sort of swearing fealty to the military industrial complex and not being willing to ask certain questions of why certain things are happening. And you see it in the fake news, the promo reel that's going on, where it's hey, even the kids are getting in on the action. And it's the soldiers just handing over their automatic rifles to all these kids, and oh, look at this, and then they're just handing out bullets like it's candy or something. And I'm like, oh my god, they're really they're showing how much you get sort of the teeth sunk in at an early
just
age,
normalizing it and grooming it into this kind of ideology of violence is the authority. So guns and bullets are the things to be respected, feared, loved. That is your authority. That is your God, basically, is violence. And the thing that can issue the most violence is the most respected and most feared.
Yeah. And for a movie that definitely has that messaging in there, it also is very much a gun porn movie in that way, where it's check out these rifles, and we're playing laser tag with double rifles. We got a bazooka. There's mounted stationary guns on this tower, and there's a lot. Like I said, they expended 300,000 rounds of ammunition for this film. So Verhoeven obviously had fun with the satire that he's building, because he's if we're gonna do this, we're gonna
might as well go all the way. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Don't want to no half measures for the you don't want to.
Definitely not. I think too, after something like Showgirls, it's why hold back? I'm gonna go bigger than I've ever done before. We're gonna go more into the theme than I've ever done before, and we're gonna actually build much more of a world around the idea that I'm presenting than I've done ever before, because it's not even, if you were to add RoboCop to Total Recall, you still wouldn't sort of get the complete scale of this film. You would have to multiply RoboCop by Total Recall to get to how big the scale of this is and how fleshed out the overall world is.
When I watched RoboCop, I was I like this. This is great, but it's a lot smaller of a scale of a movie. It's not I was kind of expecting after seeing Starship Troopers. That might have been just on me for getting my expectations up. I still loved it. I still thought it was great. But I was wow, this is kind of an interesting, smaller scale, movie. It's kind of interesting.
Yes, RoboCop is much more cerebral than the title would imply, because it's like, oh, it's a machine human cop. I mean, it's called RoboCop. Like, how good can this movie be? But it's very smart and it's very small scale, and they use their budget very, very well. And, you know, they honed in on like the makeup design and really like the backstory for Murphy. Like, so much of RoboCop is actually like happening in his head, and sort of like the pain of the disconnect because of what happened to him. And I think that's really what makes RoboCop great. And it's just like amplified on a much higher scale for something like Starship Troopers. And even though RoboCop has some fun stuff in it, and there are some like jokes there, like Starship Troopers has a lot more fun, and it's a lot more it's a lot easier to laugh at some of the dialogue and some of the character choices and things like that.
I feel like RoboCop would make a fun double feature with like A Clockwork Orange or something.
Oh,
I feel like they've got a one. I feel like they've got a similar.
Yeah, they definitely have like a shared sort of like dark
framing as well.
Yeah. How do you feel about doing some trivia?
Absolutely.
All right. Time for trivia. Let's rock.
I love trivia.
Okay, so we'll start. We'll go with question number 1. Said, before the co-ed shower scene, some of the cast was a little gun shy about doing it. So how did director Paul Verhoeven put them at ease and get the scene?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Yeah, I had to phrase the question strangely, but the answer is that he and his cinematographer, I don't know why it autocorrected to Volcano. That's not his name. His name is not Josh Volcano. But they both got naked in the co-ed shower scene with them.
That's great.
Yeah, he's like, what is everybody so uptight about?
Solidarity.
So he's like, all right, I'm just gonna take off my clothes then. So it shows you that at least like Verhoeven's also he's not wanting his cast to do anything that he's not
like lording himself over them. It's like an equal process of artistry and like collaboration, which is nice.
Yes, and the cinematographer is Jost Vacano, not Volcano. Stupid autocorrect.
It's Joe versus the volcano.
That's another episode. So question number 2, what year does Starship Troopers take place?
Oh, man. I was trying to pay attention to that because I was wondering if it didn't pay. Is it like 2133 or something like that?
That's pretty close. It was 2197.
Okay, yeah. It's 21. I remember I was trying to pay attention because I saw like the 1 year earlier, and I was like, okay, well, when does like this take place? Because I got curious about it, and then I tried to pay attention to it, and then I was like, I forgot about it. But yeah, 2190. That's cool. That's cool.
On a scale of 1,000 years, you got the century right. So
sure, yeah, I'll take that. Yeah,
I'll take that. I'll count it. It's pretty close.
Within 6 years, I'll take that. It's within the lifespan.
Okay, and the third and final question is: what real life filming location was used for the Bug Planet location of Clendathu?
Oh, I was thinking about this. I have no idea. But the geography was super interesting. I was wondering where they were filming that because it was kind of reminding me of like, in the Lord of the Rings, the Return of the King, when they're going through the mountain pass to like when Aragorn's going to get like the Ghost Army or whatever. They've got like that kind of like similar geography in the rocks, and I guess. Also kind of similar to like the beginning of like Django Unchained, and like once they take the Ark of the Covenant and Raiders to the island. I don't know, maybe somewhere in like Africa or something. That's my guess. That's a big broad guess, but that's where I'm gonna have to take it because I have no idea.
It also reminded me a lot of some of the scenes from Galaxy Quest.
I haven't seen that, but I think I've seen clips and stuff.
Galaxy Quest is great. It's got an amazing cast. It's basically like a very good Star Trek parody, but not set like if the parody were about the Star Trek actors.
Cool.
Not the show itself. Gotcha. The cast is amazing. Really, really fun. And there's like a sort of like rocky location that they're filming in as well. But this place where Verhoeven decided to film, it's called Hell's Half Acre, and it's in Natrona County, Wyoming.
Wyoming,
where it was so
off.
hot that Jake Busey ended up getting heat stroke.
Oh,
and
no.
they had to cancel filming for a week and eventually cut some holes out of his uniform so that he could sort of vent a little bit better while they were filming. But yeah, it was 110 for a lot of the shoot, and they were struggling with that for a while.
That's I gotta look that up then. If that's in Wyoming, that I might have to make that a pilgrimage, a shooting location pilgrimage at some point.
Right, pack your water and make sure that you,
I'll
stay hydrated.
I'll get like a Dune silk suit or whatever, the quick suit or the water suit.
There's a little funny anecdote that Casper Van Dien had taken his daughter to school or something, and he dropped her off, and some of the boys that were like 10 or 11 like saw him, and they're like, "Oh my God, it's Johnny Rico! Like, why didn't you tell us your dad was Johnny Rico?" And he responded to them like, "Why are you guys watching Starship Troopers?" And so the kids had said something that like, "Oh, your dad was naked in that movie," to which he had to then answer to his daughter and son, like, "Were you like naked in that movie?" And he's like, "Yup." And so
God.
both of his kids were incredibly embarrassed by that. Unfortunately, you know, I mean, it probably paid for their education, but because we were talking about the Nazi stuff too, another little interesting piece of trivia was that Verhoeven very clearly stated his intentions of the DVD commentary, and that the film's message is war does make fascists of us all, and he evoked Nazi Germany's fashion, iconography, propaganda because he saw it as a natural evolution of post-World War II United States. And he said, "I've heard this film nicknamed All Quiet on the Final Frontier." He said,
"That's really great. I'm gonna try to remember that."
Mm-hmm. And his screenwriter, of course, broadly occurs, but that's because they made the film together. And probably the last most interesting is that Mark Wahlberg turned down the role of Johnny Rico in this film, but
he found out that it was going to be a satire against fascism. He turned it down.
So I mean, it would have been very interesting to see sort of like his career trajectory, because obviously it didn't work out great for Casper Van Dien. He had a couple years after this where he was still hot, and then he's become mostly a B movie star at this point. Denise Richards like went on to do, you know, I think Wild Things came after this, maybe even the next year, and she had a successful career after this as well. And the actress who plays Diz, like Dizzy Flora, Dina Meyer, she had success, and she was in sort of like bit parts in some other stuff, but never really like became a leading lady. And maybe, you know, like a Mila Jovovich was already kind of occupying that space as the female action star, and so maybe she was just never able to quite step into that. But she's still working today. So
I mean, a lot of the
nice long career.
A lot of the other like the supporting went on, like Neil Patrick Harris.
Great career.
You know, I think Jake Busey I've seen in quite a bit of stuff. Dean Norris as well. Like
absolutely, Breaking Bad.
Absolutely,
yeah. Clancy really Brown is Clancy one of those guys who's just like one of the very best character actors in the business.
So good. He's just fantastic.
I love that when we first get introduced to him, he's like, "All right, who wants to fight me?" And then he just snaps this kid's arm. It's like, you're training this guy to go to war. Why are you breaking his arm on day one?
I was going to bring that up. It's because violence is the ultimate authority. They're going to respect him. If he's going to be the authority, he's got to show that violence. Same thing with like when he throws the knife through the guy's hand or whatever, right? Like, it's like, if you can't handle the authority of violence, I guess, you can't.
Because we've seen like other iterations of drill instructors on screen before. I mean, Full Metal Jacket is one of the ones that is
Harley Army,
one of the most iconic ones. And like, you see the sort of degradation that is cast upon these young recruits, but it almost never becomes this thing of like physical violence against them, at least not from the instructors. It's always like psychological degradation.
Yeah.
And then so to see that in this case, that's not, it's like completely turned on its head, where Clancy Brown's character is not someone who's constantly chewing them out, calling them maggot, calling them scum, like trying to make them feel small.
He like gets along with them.
Yeah, but when you challenge him, like
there's the threat.
Yeah. So it's a very interesting character design for him. And kind of same thing with Michael Ironside, where he is a leader that is respected for his military prowess, and he leads the Roughnecks at one point as well, and he sort of is scary in the fact that like you don't want to cross him because, like he said, if you quit on me, I'll kill you myself. Like, he doesn't mess around.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's not ever like degrading them throughout the course of this, trying to make them feel like, hey, I don't care about you. It's always like, no, fight for the cause and like, let's do this together. So kind of interesting, kind of veering off the path of where a lot of other movies about the military have taken a similar road.
Absolutely. I think it's interesting how a lot of like movies where it shows like the military is evil, it'll show like each individual like step in the military being evil, like the drill instructor, the sergeant, the general, all of the steps up. But really in this one, it's like the evil comes from like the politicians, the decisions being made, like the decisions, those are like the real like the problem areas. But like a lot of like the military, like aside from like obviously like the violence inflicted upon them, like is pretty like I don't know. It's like it's not. It's an interesting like Michael Ironside, like he doesn't. He's right there with them, going into invasions. Like Zim, bumps himself down to like do more fighting. Obviously, they value the fighting, and they value like the infantry. It's almost like they have like in the same way like labor is viewed as like an honorable thing. It's like the labor of fighting is like the most honorable thing, and like getting up past the labor of fighting is viewed as like, oh, I kind of don't want to be put into like the bureaucratic position. I want to get back to fighting. Like if the fighting is viewed as like the violence of the authority. So like that is where you get the respect is from like the infantry. A lot of that fighting is and so I think there's a lot of interesting characters like Zim, and I think my favorite character is Jake Busey's with where he's Ace. He turns down squad leader. I think he's one of my favorite characters. He's got that great violin, the fiddle, and then the entertainment bit. He's got the neon green electric violin, which is sick. Love that.
Well, it's like Jake at least gets like an actual character arc where like he presents the first time we meet him as like the stereotypical tall blonde douchebag that thinks he's the best, and then like he's proven very ill-equipped to be the leader, and I think he realizes like, well, if I'm the leader, we're all gonna die, so I would prefer somebody else lead. And that is like something that a lot of arrogant people probably wouldn't give up in that position. But since you brought up both Zim and was it Razchek? Since they're primarily the two like leadership influences at the infantry level, do you view them as good men?
I mean, obviously, I view their. I mean, it's so interesting to kind of ascribe a moral value to these guys that are operating within this like thing. But in terms of I don't know. I think they're. Oh, that's so weird. That's a good question though.
Because they're like career military guys, but like from what we see, it's like they care about the people that are put like under their charge, and
as far as that goes, yes, absolutely. I believe that they're good in their position. Like for them, like it's like I don't think that like. Maybe I don't think that landlords are good, but then maybe I think that there can be a good landlord, right? Like I think that he's like I don't necessarily think that what they are doing is good, but I think that they are doing it in probably the best way that they could. Like I think Zim probably, doesn't need to use that force against them, but also like in this world where this is so normal and so accepted and so everything, I don't think that that's necessarily far from the like abnormal. So I don't think it's like there's so much. I don't know. It's interesting.
Well, because when they're gonna do like corporal punishment on Rico, he's like, here, bite down on this, and
he's clearly sympathetic. Yeah. He's like, I know. Yeah,
I've been through this, so it's like he's establishing that like he has been in a similar position to our main character and has maybe made a tactical error that cost lives, and he's sort of like lowering himself to Rico's level in that point. And I think it's important, but this sort of marriage between honor and the battle itself is very much like a Viking ideal, where these guys, even though they are significantly older in their military careers, they have not moved to the point of desk jobs. I think they are presented to actually be people that understand some of like the hypocrisy and the bullshit that goes on at the bureaucratic higher up levels. And they are like, look, we're military guys and we're in it for the fight. So we're obviously like, we're going to fight wherever we're told to fight, but we don't want to be the people like making policy decisions because we know that they're full of shit. And at least there's honor on the battlefield.
Yeah. Their intentions aren't like bad, or like their motivations aren't evil. Their motivations from what they believe are like honorable, like from their framework. As far what they're working on, they're honorable, right? Like, so like, Zim being like, I don't see your like, is this your name on like resignation paper? I don't see it, right? Like clearly he cares about Rico and so I think from their framework, they are probably the most virtuous characters, but again, it's like operating on that framework of like in a fascist society. So it's like you got to take it with a grain of salt. That's like the size of like a Himalayan like salt lamp. That's the grain.
I like that. Like he still took time to like put that in there, because these could have been like completely amoral characters and completely
unsympathetic, but they are sympathetic in the movie, and it's great.
Yeah, because like Dean Norris, like he is basically just like a uniform, right? He comes out, he doesn't offer anything other than he even defers to Zim and says like, is this guy salvageable? And so he trusts this guy's judgment, and Zim, looking at Rico's potential, is like, yes, I think he is. But yeah, Dean Norris doesn't really like offer anything other than being a figurehead. So I think it was important tactical piece of writing to include these two different types of characters, because like say even you were to disagree with them on some of their stance or maybe their loyalty or whatever, it's like they earn their respect in battle, and the fact that they're both alive at this stage in their career says a lot about how hard they're willing to fight. And so it's like, okay, maybe this guy is like representative of a system that I don't appreciate, but he is still like battle tested and deserves the credit for that part of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. That's an interesting point. I think we're at a good point where we go to Critics Corner, and now we really get to see what all the horrible things that people said about this movie.
We've hit the we love part. We've hit the we love part. Now we're at the it's bad part. Bad movies part.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't go as low as some of the other ones. I mean, it has a Metascore of 52, which is right in the wheelhouse for this movie, and it has good like audience scores. So it is one of the movies that, like, when I first created the show, I was like, this is the kind of movie that like belongs on this show, because I think it is good, but it's time to find out why critics didn't like it. So we start at the bottom, and we've got two scores that are a 30. One of them is from Salon and one is from Newsweek. So I will let you pick your poison.
Let's hear from Newsweek first.
Newsweek. Okay. So it only gives us a sense. It says an empty video game of a movie about interplanetary pest control. So yeah, like we said, I think you can look at this as exactly that and take nothing else from it and completely miss the point. But
I think it's like
did not have fun with it either.
I think you get out of it what you put into it. And so like it's like if you're only going in with the expectation of that, I can see how you can only come away with that, you know? So I think there is a lot of rich and fun and valuable subtext that you can get out of it. But again, you just kind of have to like put in a little bit of like looking for it, maybe just a little bit, but like I can see how that reaction. Yeah.
And if you hated it the first time, you're probably not going to go back and give it a chance to
exactly
redeem itself either.
And a lot of those make themselves a lot more obvious on rewatches because they're played so like just like that. You like don't catch them the first time necessarily, where it's like, oh, what was that? Oh, what was it? Like, and then you see it on the rewatch, and you're like, oh, public execution. Watch tonight. It's okay. I get that. Yeah, I know. So cool. Okay.
It's like yeah, and that thing about the public execution, it's like that's really dark. It's really intelligent, but it's coming really fast paced, and it's like sandwiched between a bunch of other like ridiculous news stories too. So it's like
it's easy to miss.
Exactly.
Blink and you miss it, but but it's like there's all these little puzzle pieces throughout the movie that are blink and you miss it, kind of like that once put together and once like understood as a totality, it's like it puts together a really nice picture to think about and engage with. But again, it's like you have to engage with it on your own. You get in what you get out, or put in what you get out what you put in.
And for the record, Newsweek, if this was like a very well actualized video game, I would be playing it. So
absolutely.
So that's not an insult.
Like, yeah, I mean, we've got like this sort of like Armored Core a little bit. I haven't played Armored Core, but like it's like similar ideas. There are games like this that are very good and do the same like commentary. So yeah, that's interesting.
And we've got 240, so this is like the next tier up, and they are Dallas Observer and the New York Times. So you can choose once again.
I'm from Austin, so I'm gonna hate anything that comes from Dallas. So let's hear the New York Times piece.
All right, so New York Times, this is Elvis Mitchell. He said, "Pretty actors, grisly critters, brains sucked out of skulls, buckets of green slime, and a plot that is half beach blanket bingo, half Iwo Jima." So obviously not a very high opinion.
I don't know. All of those elements to me sound great. I don't know. All of the like buckets of slime. Come on, bring them back. We need more slime.
Yeah. Some people just don't want to have fun.
Exactly. And for the hot actors, I think we were Casper Van Dien in terms of like, you can't get more Aryan than him. Like, let's be real. Like that is like
square-jawed, blonde,
uber mensch. Like that is like the perfect casting decision. It's great. So yeah, absolutely. I think that's an interesting review.
And I think at the time when I watched this when I was 13, like I wasn't well informed enough. I mean, I probably learned a little bit about it, but I didn't have enough distance from it to really think of how Verhoeven's relationship with growing up like under Nazi occupation framed this sort of context of like, I'm like, wait a second, why is Carmen Ibanez like, why is everybody in Buenos Aires a white guy?
Right.
And I'm like,
it's such a good that's one of the best bits in the entire movie. It's like and that's like, if you don't have any curiosity about it, you'll just not question it and you'll just take it at face value. And that's fine. And it's like, it works, but there is, again, subtext there that makes it a really funny bit. Like, it's just,
and we've got 450s, but I'm going to go with Roger Ebert because I always read his when I have the chance.
Please.
But so that's what, a 2 out of 4 on his scale. That's not horrible. Faithfully represents Heinlein's militarism, his big brother state, and a value system in which the highest good is to kill a friend before the bugs can eat him. The underlying ideas are the most interesting aspect of the film. Okay, so he didn't really love it, but I mean, he's not always the biggest on stuff that's like horror, and this is like, it could be a horror movie if you like
I mean, we know
a few things here and there.
We also know how he feels about video games in that first review as well. So if it felt like a video game, we can see what.
Yeah. So, but he does give it credit, and that's always why I like to read Ebert, because he always chooses to point out the thing that he feels is strong, even when he's being critical. And
Absolutely.
like you said, the underlying ideas are the most interesting aspect of the film, and I agree with him 100%. And now let's see, there's only 2 left, so that'll close us out, and we get a 75 from Real Views. James Berardinelli, I've read him before on here, and he says, although none of the characters are fleshed out much beyond the comic book level, which is fair, we nevertheless find our sympathies aligning with them. Yeah, we talked about this exact thing.
Absolutely. I think that's the strength of it, is how well it's framed, that we have such little development, and yet you still care very deeply about what's going on to them. And I think that's just a strength to the filmmaking.
Yeah, because we sympathize with them, not necessarily on an individual level, but on a broader level of like, this could be someone
is a
we know that
level,
got recruited to the military. And it's a very different way to sort of tell the story of your main character, because Rico is a very much like square-jawed action star in that way, but he's not written that way. Like, he's not the brightest. He doesn't actually have the best leadership instincts, and he thrives best when he's got Diz pulling the strings for him. So it's a very strange leading man for an action movie during the 90s, but I like the sort of the antithetical approach.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, we close it out. Entertainment Weekly, Owen Gleiberman. I've read him on here before. He says, this movie is sensationally exciting, but it's, hey kids, let's put on a war storyline, plays like Beverly Hills 90210 recast as a military recruitment film for the Third Reich. And he apparently loves it. 83 out of 100 is pretty good, although the words that came out of his mouth don't necessarily seem like they add up to him loving this movie.
Yeah, that was like some of the scathing reviews earlier sounded a little bit more positive.
Yeah, that's why it's always fun to read these, because it's like we get a nice broad spectrum of who really sees like past it and who doesn't. And so I think we got a little bit of
that's why I think it's very interesting to hear the reviews. Is like it's like there is a lot to get, but it's just like what did you like depending on how much you got from that viewing. And that's interesting.
Absolutely. But yeah, that'll close out Critics Corner. So I'm going to give you the chance now. Like, has there been anything that you really wanted to talk about that we didn't cover at this point?
I mean, I let's see. I've got I hit up the fascism masculinity. I hit up Diz and Rico teamsmanship. I hit up the passive defense. I think I've got everything.
Okay, well then I'm going to ask you a question. Have you seen Inglourious Bastards?
I have, yes.
Okay, so there's a scene in this movie where, given the benefit of hindsight, I was like, did Tarantino want to do this? Because when Xander and Carmen get like trapped down by the brain bug right before he gets his brain slurped out of his head, before he gets his milkshake drinking, he says, one day someone like me is going to kill you and your whole fucking race, and spits it in the bug's face. And I was like, whoa. I was like, okay, this reminds me so much of the Bear Jew moment, where he's like, all right, well, if you don't tell me what I want to know, I'm calling over the Bear Jew. And he's like, fuck you and your Jew dogs, and then gets his brain bashed in. So I'm like, okay, this is like an alarming parallel that I didn't expect to
that's
find
pretty
here.
great. Wow. No, that's great. That's a great. It's been a while since I've seen Inglourious Basterds, but that's one of my favorite bits of it is the baseball bat. But yeah, so yeah.
And this would be the kind of movie, honestly, like I think Tarantino would like this movie.
Absolutely.
If you just ask him, he'd be like, oh,
absolutely.
Yeah,
yeah, love it. It's one of the best 90s movies. I love it. Paul Verhoeven. Oh, he kills it. All right, it's so good. Carmen de Venice, so good. Welcome.
We've covered so much at this point. I want to give you the opportunity. Like, I don't know if you're working on any projects that you want to share with us or anything like that.
I'm not doing much now. No, I'm not. I've got just trying to watch as many movies as possible. That's basically it. Yeah.
Well,
I guess here, I'd like actually a recommendation. Because what do you think is a movie that I should check out next?
Do you want to go something that is from Verhoeven's catalog?
Whatever it doesn't. I probably not from Verhoeven because I'll probably check those out anyway. So a suggestion of something that I probably wouldn't ordinarily watch.
If you want something that's sort of, have you seen Dark City?
I have not seen Dark City.
Okay, that's 1998, and it's like the indie movie to the Matrix's sort of like over budgeted and gigantic scale.
Jennifer Connelly,
Rufus Sewell, William Hurt, Kiefer Sutherland. One of my favorites. And it's very much a cerebral sci-fi, and it's sort of like noirish as well. So it like combines a lot of things that I love.
Yeah. Cool. I'll definitely check this out. Yeah. This looks awesome. I'm a big fan of Jennifer Connelly.
Oh yeah, she was just the one of the rounds on the
I remember. That was a good one.
I know. I was waiting. I almost did her like in the very beginning because it's like I think I had started playing that game or like doing the prompts for it like right after I saw Top Gun. So I was like, I wanted to get her involved.
Gotcha.
I was like, I need some space. She needs some time and some room to breathe.
I'm not gonna lie, the Ben Kingsley one blew my mind. That one was like I had no idea for that one. That one was like just could have been anyone. You could have told me that was anybody and I would have believed you. That was crazy. Yeah,
definitely one of the harder rounds. And I was just like, you know what, Ben Kingsley, like he's still making movies, but he's not really talked about as like one of our greatest working actors right now, even though
absolutely I think he's gonna get a little bit more talk, especially because of the new Wes Anderson project that he's in, the Henry Sugar one. Him, yeah. I agree, and I think he did the time that I remember people talking about him a bit was like Hugo. Was he in Hugo, or he was in like a Martin Scorsese? Something like that. I remember
he familiar. I mean, he was in like Sexy Beast. I think he won the Oscar for. He had a great stretch of like the 90s to the early 2000s, and he just. I mean, it was great to see him in Iron Man. I think 3. It was
Shutter Island. I think was
that's right.
Shutter Island. That was the one I was thinking of. Yeah. Oh, he was in Hugo. Never mind. Okay, so yeah, Hugo and Shutter Island. Yeah, absolutely. But okay, yeah. I feel like I haven't heard much from him since like 2016 or something. You know, like I feel like it's
Dali Land came out this year where he plays Salvador Dali, so I do want to see that.
Ooh, interesting.
Dali is one of my favorite.
He's an interesting guy. That's a controversial figure for sure.
Yeah, we went to the Dali Museum when we were in Tampa, and they have like 8 of his masterworks on display.
That's awesome.
They're massive, and it was a very interesting gallery. And so I get Ben Kingsley. I get an artist that I like.
Yeah,
similar to when what was it? Eternity's Gate with Willem Dafoe. Picasso, I think, right?
No, the Van Gogh. Yeah. Have you seen Loving Vincent?
I have not.
That one's incredible. You know about that one, right? Like how it's animated in oil paintings.
Oh, it was.
That's kind of like that. I think it was like. Let me see. I'm a big fan of it. It's one of my favorite. 2017. Yeah, that's what I thought. Oh, it's got Saoirse Ronan in it. Interesting.
Cool. All right, I'll check that out.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of the Dali like big pieces. There's a gallery kind of near me that had like a few of his like sketches and stuff like that I got to see, and that was super neat because I hadn't like seen like a big name artist like that, like any of like their original work like ever. So that was really cool to see, like especially so close. I got to check out Dali Land.
Yeah, I think it just came out like a month or so ago. But the way that distribution happens now, it's probably you could probably rent it for $5.
Yeah.
But I always do also ask my guests. Having seen Starship Troopers, I always ask for sort of a comparison film where if you've seen Starship Troopers and you like it, what is a good comparison film, or if you're trying to convince somebody to see Starship Troopers, what's a movie that would help them be that jumping off point?
Oh, okay, that's so interesting because like since this is basically like two movies where you've got like the action dumb like schlocky bits and then you've got like the actual like biting satire, it's like I would recommend one for either one, right? Like,
okay,
but I think I'd probably no, I'd probably recommend. Man, that's tough. I might have to go with Nausicaa. Honestly, that's like the most similar that I can think of. I think if you like Nausicaa, I think you can get a lot from especially a lot of Studio Ghibli movies that like have like that same kind of like maybe more so on like the natural elements. So that's what I was definitely picking up on this recent rewatch was like how much of like the bug's defense was literally just like them being alive and like having like pointy hands, basically.
It looks scary, destroy it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, it can kill me if I go up to it, right? Like that's basically,
that's
basically
a good pick,
it.
though. I mean, we just finished for Film Club. We just finished Ghibli in July, so we had done a handful of Ghibli movies, and they are remarkably layered films. The storytelling is immaculate. I don't think you really are going to go wrong, but Nausicaa wasn't one of the ones that made the list. But as I was sort of like combing through all the stuff that I missed and what was available, I started like putting my watch list together on Max. And so I got that one on there. And because I was like, oh man, I feel like I should have watched more than just the 5 of them that I did during the month while it was active.
I need to watch more Ghibli movies. I've only seen like Spirited Away and like Nausicaa and like I think Princess Mononoke, but that's like it.
I mean, we started with Mononoke, and then we did Howl's Moving Castle. Then
I still need to finish that. I'm like halfway through that. It's terrible. It's been like 2 years. I haven't finished it. I feel so bad. I feel so guilty.
Watch it 10 minutes at a time, like
basically, essentially.
Then we did Spirited Away. Then we did Kiki's Delivery Service. So it was really interesting to see like Miyazaki's sort of storytelling style and like what all the films have in common and like sort of what they do differently and how they tell different elements. And I would say like Howl's is also one that is in this world that's steeped in war. And it's sort of like in the background. So it has some of those similar elements where this sort of like it's a very anti-war film, but unlike Starship Troopers, it's not like, wearing a Gatling gun on the front of it and blasting its way into your heart. Nausicaa was super interesting, especially after Oppenheimer as well. There's a lot of like nuclear development, like stuff like that in that movie as well that I didn't pick up on, which is really, really interesting. Well, I might actually check that out. I mean, I got to see Barbie.
I highly recommend.
But,
absolutely.
Before the week is out, I know that I only have to watch one Mafia movie coming up for the next themed month. But
what's that going to be?
We're doing City of God first.
I haven't seen that.
It's a Brazilian film from 2002.
Is that the one where it's like the poster is like they're on a beach and it's like the sort of okay. I know it in my brain, but I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I saw it like when it came out, and that was like organized crime. I mean, it's not like So someone asked me like, does it have to be Italian mafia? And I said, well, I wasn't the one who suggested Mafia Month, so unless you get an answer from that guy, just put whatever you want on there. It's fine. And then somebody else asked me, like, was John Wick a Mafia movie? And
that was that what sparked that poll?
Yeah. I would have listened to the results of the poll, but also I was just.
What were the results? Because I didn't vote because okay, because I've only seen like the first one and I was like too big to like pay attention, so I can't say that I've seen it in a meaningful capacity.
The first one is like probably as close as you get to it being a mafia movie, but I would say it's an action movie where mafia is involved,
right?
Which is slightly different than a movie that like the focus is on the actual like organized crime element, and sort of like the inner workings of how that crime family works.
Right.
I mean, you definitely would know certain ones like right away if you came across it, but the one that I watched the other night, sort of trying to sift through whether or not I could rationalize adding it to the list, was Raw Deal, where Arnold Schwarzenegger of all people has to infiltrate the mafia, and I was like, oh my god, if this works, I would love to put this on the list. But ultimately, I'm like, no, this is a Schwarzenegger movie where the mafia is involved, and it is great at that, but is definitely not what I would say is a mafia movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like my favorite mafia movies, and the only thing that I can think of is, I mean, like there's a lot of great ones, but my specific favorite like mafia media, I think is like the Fargo TV show one with like Jesse Plemons and like Kieran Culkin and all that. Like that one is really great. That's a great.
I feel ashamed of myself that I love Fargo the movie so much and never watched the show because I've heard nothing but good things about the show.
That like. For any recommendation, ignore from me. That is like the number one, like so good. Probably like I think the series of unfortunate events TV show on Netflix is like my favorite TV show. But barring that, it's Fargo. Fargo is incredible. Like I love the movie. I love the show maybe 5 times more. It's incredible. That's like it's a very high bar for me because I'm a big Coen Brothers fan. Like I'm a massive Coen Brothers fan. And it does the Coen Brothers very well. Like there's a lot, like not just Fargo. There's a lot of like No Country for Old Men. There's a lot of like, you know, A Serious Man or like great little bits from other movies. You know.
And did the Coen Brothers come in and like direct episodes like it happens a lot?
I have no idea.
TV?
I have no idea. I've kind of kept the making of Fargo a mystery to me. I have no idea how involved they are with it. I think they're like executive producers. I know that's like a label that just gets kind of given to like the adapted kind of like forefathers, right? You know, like George Lucas will get like an executive producer even if he like does nothing, or so I don't know how involved it. Right, exactly. Executive producers is who's getting paid. No, but I don't know their involvement. But like the filmmakers clearly are very, very like respectful to their like how they do it, and it's like great acting after great like character acting, like Ewan McGregor, David Thewlis, Jesse Plemons, like Kieran Culkin. I just so good, so good. The first season is amazing. Like all of them are great. I haven't seen like the most recent one with Jessie Buckley. She's one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, she's great. Remember, I just actually, oddly enough, her album is really good.
Really? I don't know she did music.
I guess, you know, she's been a singer, but if you've never seen the movie, she did it, I want to say 2-3 years ago. It's called Wild Rose.
No.
And she's like a country singer, but like kind of coming up, trying to succeed in Scotland and struggling. But she does, she sings the songs on the soundtrack, and then her and I cannot remember the name off the top of my head, so I'm going to look it up.
I saw her in like I'm Thinking of Ending Things and really loved her, and then I saw her again in Chernobyl and I loved her even more. It just every time I see her, she just pops up and is just fantastic. She's one of my favorite actresses.
Jessie Buckley and Bernard Butler. They have like an EP out, I think. I think it's only like it's a full album, so there's 12 tracks on it. But she also has the soundtrack stuff for Wild Rose as well. So
I'll definitely check that out. That's because I'm a big fan of hers.
Yeah, me too. What was it called? Beast from like 2016, 2017.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Oh, like all of a sudden it was like I was like, okay, well, I have to pay attention to whatever she's going to do from now on because she's amazing. And
it's a recent one.
I want to say 2017. Might have been 2018, but
I'm seeing one from 2022 from Prime. I'm guessing that's not it.
Let me see. Beast. That's not it. That is not it.
It's that's the Idris Elba lion one. I'm realizing. That's not what I'm looking. Yeah, Jessie Buckley actually does mocap for the lioness.
Right. 2017. Yeah, that's the right one.
Okay, there it is. Yeah. Okay, cool. Oh, Geraldine James, she's cool.
Yeah, so that one kind of like all of a sudden just like popped out, and I was like, oh wow, it's like she's amazing. So must pay attention to whatever she's
definitely one to watch. Definitely one to watch.
But yeah, I'm gonna campaign for Fargo to be the next show we start here in this household.
Please, it's really fantastic. Like, cannot recommend it anymore. Like,
because right now, all I've got as far as like shows that me and my fiance watch are the only thing is, and just like that, the Sex and the City spinoff show. And I'm like, I need something else.
Yeah. And hopefully this will be the contrast you need to the Sex and the City, because it's great. The first season's like Martin Freeman, Billy Bob Thornton, like giving like back-to-back like great performances. Like, he's one of the scariest, best, like so good. Incredible.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad to hear that. And I'm really glad we got to sit down and make this happen.
Absolutely.
I know
yeah.
We initially sort of like kicked the ball around maybe like a couple months ago. And then it was like, oh yeah, I'm scheduled pretty tight for the next few weeks. So yeah.
I'm glad it worked out for you. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I got one in the can that I need to edit for this week. So this will be next week's episode.
Solid.
But yeah, should you come across another movie like Starship Troopers that you think is a bad movie that you love,
I'd love to come talk about it.
I've got a long laundry list of movies that are on my my to-do list for this show, and really, I need somebody who loves Waterworld to find me.
I need to see Waterworld because there's like it's been in my orbit for like the past like 2 years, where like I've heard like people talking about it. Like, I've been watching this YouTuber who's been kind of building something. He's like, oh, I've been super inspired by Waterworld. And I'm like, oh, if that's the case, then I got to check this out, because like it's perfect. Like, it's like right in like that kind of Mad Maxy Brazil like sci-fi apocalypse sort of like junk aesthetic that I just love, and I gotta watch it. So I'll let you know what I think about it when I do.
Well, it's like if steampunk is a thing, I would call this more like smoke punk.
Cool. I like that.
Yeah, like one of the people I read was like, oh, it's just like Mad Max with water, and I'm like, and you think that's a problem?
Yeah,
do you not like Mad Max?
I'd take any more Mad Max in my life personally. You know, I'm excited for what's the George Miller Furiosa with Anya Taylor-Joy. That seems like that could be fun, interesting, and exciting.
Yeah, so it was Waterworld Day like a couple days ago, where just like maybe it was last week, late July, just celebrating its release and people sharing about it. So I started hashtagging Waterworld forever on everything, and it's just like somebody reach out to me and find it. But I had ordered the RoboCop, since we're talking about Verhoeven and Waterworld for some reason. I had ordered the RoboCop director's cut from Arrow Video, and I opened the box and I see two things in there, and I'm like, uh-oh, is this not my order? And I open it, and the second thing in the box is freaking Waterworld. And I was like, oh my God. So they gave it to me for free on accident. But yes, the Blu-ray from Arrow. So
that's awesome. Is it like a cool case or whatever? I know
it's not a steelbook, but it is. It's like a alternate artwork.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool.
Yes.
I like
thank you to Arrow Video for making
shout out Arrow
in my favor. Yeah, shout out, free commercial. But Eliot, thank you so much for your time, man. And,
absolutely, it's a pleasure.
This was an absolute blast, and I hope we get to scratch another one off the list at some point.
Me too, man. Me too. I'll be paying attention for any bad movies that I personally love. You know?
Yeah, that's what I want. Is like I've done episodes on this show with movies that I've never seen, with people that have brought stuff to me that I never would have expected to actually cover on here. So please, by all means, you come across one that you love and you want to bring it to my attention, I am all ears. So
absolutely. Well, thanks for having me, man. It was great to talk to you. Great to get to chit chat about one of my favorite movies. I love it.
It was very nice to talk to you and actually like put a face and a voice to a name that I've spoken to online for a long time. So
yeah. Well, hopefully I'll be able to recognize more of those eyes in coming days.
I don't even remember who I put up today, but now I remember.
Hey, don't spoil it.
You'll probably know it.
I think I saw it and I didn't know, but I don't spoil it regardless, because it'll be in my mind. All right, I'll have a good one.
Thank you so much, Eliot.
Yeah, I'll see you later. Bye.
Thank you once again to Eliot for stopping by the show and talking with me about a movie that I've loved for a long time. I'm really glad he got to experience it and enjoyed it as well. If you want to talk movies with him, you can find him at Dirt on the Lawn on X, formerly known as Twitter. And of course, thank you to everyone who took the time to listen to this episode. I know you have a lot of choices when it comes to podcasts, and I appreciate you spending your time with us. I hope you enjoyed the show, and if you do, please consider leaving a rating and telling a friend about it. And the new support page is live at ko-fi.com. That's ko-fi.com/badmovieswelove. I'd love to hear from you, so if you have a bad movie you love, and or maybe would like to be a guest on the show, you can contact me now at badmovieswelove@thesheist.com or badmovieswelove on Twitter and Instagram, and that's love with an LUV. And as always, take care, be well, stay safe, and have fun however you get your movies.